So Ben Simmons just came off of an absolutely terrible playoff run with the 76ers, where he was the biggest reason why they failed, due to him not being aggressive at all and due to him shooting 33% from the free throw line. And it's looking very unlikely that the Philadelphia 76ers are going to keep him over the offseason, and that means he's probably going to get traded. And obviously, even though Simmons didn't do well in the postseason, there are many teams that would be interested in trading for him. But when I look at teams rumored to trade for him, I was very surprised to see the Toronto Raptors as one of the favorites. And then when I thought about it, I realized that trading for Simmons makes a bunch of sense, and the Raptors have the assets to do just that. So in today's video, I'll be discussing the trade between Ben Simmons and the Raptors, like how it would go down, and I'll be giving 4 reasons why the Raptors would be a good fit for Ben Simmons. But before we get into the video, I ask you to drop a like on this video, as it does help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. I literally post every single day. Also, if you want to help me reach my goal of 1,500 subscribers, and comment on this video so the conversation with me, as I do respond to all of my comments. And play that intro. To start the video off, I'm going to discuss what I think the trade would be like, and to be honest, I think it's really obvious that the trade would include Kyle Lowry in this move. And you might be thinking, how can the Raptors trade Lowry if he's going to be a top free agent? And the way they could do that is by doing a sign and trade with Lowry, and that would allow the money to work, because I don't know if the Philadelphia 76ers would have enough money to sign Lowry the normal way. And I think the full move would be Ben Simmons to the Toronto Raptors and Kyle Lowry and the Raptors' 4th pick in the draft this year. And I think this is a fair move for the 76ers, because Kyle Lowry is a veteran guard, and unlike Ben Simmons, he will step up in the postseason, and he's also a guard who can actually space the floor at a great level, and he creates plays for others just as good as Simmons. He's not as good on defense, but he's no liability on that side of the floor, and he might be slightly worse of a point guard during the regular season, but in the postseason, he is way better. And the Sixers would also get a 1st round pick this year. That's the number 4 pick, which they could definitely use in another trade, or they could just get a solid young player to help out with their depth. And the Raptors would obviously get Ben Simmons, but now to talk about why it's a perfect move for the Simmons to the Raptors. The first reason I think the Toronto Raptors getting Ben Simmons is a great fit is the fact that the Toronto Raptors are a rebuilding team. Ever since we've seen Ben Simmons come into the NBA, he's always been on a team that was looking to go on a deep run in the playoffs, and to a certain point, that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because we've seen many stars like Devin Booker and Karl-Anthony Towns and more struggle to even make the postseason, and they waste plenty of years of their career. But it's also a bad thing since we have seen Ben have so much pressure on him, and the team hasn't been able to 100% focus on him, whereas if he was on a rebuilding team, he would get like a full attention from the team. Right now, the Raptors are rebuilding, and not in the way that they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league or anything like that, but their roster is just going through many changes, and this would be a great change since it would give them a guy with superstar potential to build around. Because as much as I like Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby, I don't think any of those guys are going to be superstars, whereas with Ben Simmons, he could clearly be a top 10 player in the NBA if he's developed better. And this Raptors organization is known as one of the best organizations when it comes to developing players, and we've seen them do that with guys like OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, and plenty of others. Simmons is just a player who needs a change of scenery, and in Toronto, we really love our players, unlike Philadelphia fans who booed them. So I think Simmons coming here would really help with his career and also really help this team. The second reason Ben Simmons going to the Raptors would be a great fit is the fact that I'm someone who believes Ben Simmons has a very high potential, and although I'm less confident that he will reach that potential than I was like 2 or 3 years ago, I still have some hope that on a different team he could still reach that potential, because we have to realize Ben Simmons is a 6'10" point guard who is a good playmaker, a fantastic rebounder, and he's a top 5 defender in the whole NBA, and I think he's actually the best perimeter defender in the NBA. He's also 240 pounds with a 40-inch vertical, and he's one of the fastest guys in the league with the ball. This guy literally has all the tools to be a top 5 player in the NBA, and at worst a top 10. And I would just hope that he could put some serious work in the offseason to improve his game, or maybe this Raptor team could help him out a lot, Because the thing with Simmons is he doesn't necessarily have to have a good 3-point shot or to take threes or anything like that. It's more he just needs to be an aggressive player and have confidence, because during the whole playoffs he just looked like a player who was not confident in his ability at all, as we all saw him pass up on a wide open dunk because he didn't want to get fouled. And if he could just get his confidence up and go back to the player he was in his rookie season, the player who would constantly attack the basket, it would make him so much better. Obviously, it would be great if he could get a jump shot, but at this point, I don't think he'll ever be a good shooter. But if he could just be a guy who defenses aren't comfortable leaving wide open, it would be a huge boost to his game. And I know by now you probably have seen those highlights where Ben was like shooting mid-range jump shots and things like that in Summer League. If you could just go back to that, it'd be absolutely fantastic for this team, because he just seemed like a player with so much confidence. And I was truly thinking he could be a superstar before, but if he's on a different team, especially a team like the Raptors, I think he actually could be a superstar. Because right now, if I'm being honest, I'm not ready to give up on Ben Simmons yet, and I don't think the Raptors should, and getting him would at least give them a player who could hopefully one day lead this franchise to deep playoff runs. The third reason Ben Simmons to the Raptors makes a lot of sense is the fact that the Toronto Raptors are known to be a great culture. There's basically never any rumblings about players not liking each other or anything like that, as their front office, as I said, is amazing and amazing at developing players. This is just a great fit, since in Philadelphia we always heard how there was dysfunction and it was a negative area, and that was shown in the post-game interviews when Joel Embiid kind of blamed Ben Simmons for them losing to a degree, when he said the turning point in the game was when Ben passed up on a wide open dunk and passed it to Matisse Thybulle, who got fouled, but he missed one of the free throws. And then some more dysfunction was showed when Doc Rivers said in the post-game interview that he didn't think Ben Simmons, or that he didn't know if Ben Simmons could be a championship point guard. Ben is really someone who struggles with his confidence, and being in a somewhat toxic environment could make him significantly worse. But with the Raptors, he wouldn't really have to go through that, and I think it would help him be as best as he could, because a lot of the other teams that are looking into getting Ben Simmons, like the Sacramento Kings, as we all know, the Kings are probably the most dysfunctional franchise in the NBA, and the Blazers aren't really a toxic team because of Damian Lillard and stuff like that, but I still feel like the Raptors are just better when it comes to that, and especially developing players. So I think the Raptors getting Ben Simmons would really help his career, and for obvious reasons, it would help the team. The fourth reason Ben Simmons to the Raptors would be a great move is the fact that in this current moment, Ben Simmons' trade value is at its absolutely lowest. Because if you were going to trade for Ben Simmons even 3 years ago, the Raptors probably would have had to give up Kyle Lowry, OG, the 4th pick in this year's draft, and probably a guy like Malachi Flynn to go along with some extra first round picks. 2 or 3 years ago, Ben was probably one of the 10 hardest players to trade in the league. And if we're being honest, it was definitely warranted. But now, if you were going to try and trade for him, I honestly believe just giving up an aging Kyle Lowry, who was likely to leave this team anyways, and the 4th pick in the draft in the high lottery is enough to trade for him. And maybe the Sixers would ask for an extra first round pick or some second rounders, but you get the point. His value is so low right now, so Toronto really wouldn't be giving up anything huge in this move. I think it's definitely worth the risk because Ben Simmons has potential, and I guarantee you, or maybe I don't guarantee you, but I think it's more likely that the player the Raptors select with this 4th pick won't be better than Ben Simmons in his prime if he reaches it. So potentially trading Ben Simmons for nothing huge and then having him turn into an NBA superstar could be huge with this team, and I believe they should pull the trigger on this trade if it could actually get done. But to conclude the video, I personally think the team Ben Simmons is most likely to get traded to is the Portland Trail Blazers, whether or not they give CJ McCollum up, because although I don't think McCollum is a better player than Kyle Lowry, he isn't far off and he's significantly younger, and if a team like the Wizards offered Bradley Beal for him, the Sixers would probably take that instead. But Toronto does have assets outside of Kyle Lowry, whereas the Blazers don't really have any young players the Sixers would seriously want. Maybe Anthony Simons, but I think that 4th pick is way more valuable. So I think the Raptors are the second most likely team to get him, and I would easily argue that they're over the Blazers. The only problem with this move is the fact that, as we know, Ben Simmons can't shoot, but I think this Toronto team can somewhat accommodate for that since they have so much 3-point shooters, but it would make it harder on guys like Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby to get to the rim, but hopefully he comes back next year with a much improved shot. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Let me know whether or not you think Ben Simmons could actually go to the Raptors. Drop a like on this video to help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily update content. Also, tell me your channel goal of 1,500 subscribers. Comment on this video so the conversation with me, as I do respond to all of my conversations. And I'm out.